Hey there, and welcome to the Random Horror Show. I am your host, Keisha Lacey, and how y'all doing out there? I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy in this crazy ass world. What all of us are going through, you saging your homes, putting salt in the corners, rejuvenate with yoga, meditation, forking tunes, crystals, anything, reading your Bibles, anything that you can just think of, possibly you can think of, just to live in this crazy ass world that everybody is going through, except for the people that live on their little island. They have not been exposed to everything in this world. You know, the people that live on that little island, and they're so primitive. They don't want nobody there, and they killed that guy who said he's like, I'm finna crusade for Jesus and turn these people into Christians because he feel like their culture and their lifestyle and their way of life is so wrong because they're not living under Jesus Christ, and they killed his ass, which the government has told him. Indian government has told lots of people not to go over there on that island, leave them alone. You're gonna die, and we ain't got shit to do with it. Yeah, those people are lucky. Those people are blessed. They are blessed. They don't have to put up with the shit. They don't have to put up the shit like the rest of us do in this world. But anyways, this is the shit I don't want to put up with right now. Tonight's podcast, we're going to be trashing the hell out of this movie called Black as Night. It is on Amazon Prime. And I really haven't trashed a lot of horror movies or any movies that we talk about on this podcast. But this one right here, I am deliberately going to trash the hell out of it. It's not even going to be that long. I have re-record this. This is my third recording on this movie because once I start getting a headache, my sinuses are draining. I've taken my prednisone. I smoked about 2 or 3 cigarettes. Just like I This is a stressful one. This is a very stressful podcast. And of course, here at the Random Horror Show, where we film commentate on horror, science fiction, fantasy, cult classics, and the obscure in movies, television, and books. And I'd like to thank y'all for listening to this little rinky-dink podcast. It is a train wreck of a podcast, but I do keep it 100, and I do have integrity with the show. But this movie that I am going to literally just trash the hell out of does not have any type of integrity. The writing stinks. It is actually a ripoff of Abraham Lincoln Vampire. It disrespect. It's a very disrespectful movie all the way around. The writer the lazy writing, I believe this dude just wrote on Wattpad for like so many years. He also has been credited of writing Shameless, which that explains it all. If you say like, oh, she shitting on Shameless, you know what? I don't give a shit because I do not like Shameless. I've seen a couple of episodes. That is not for me. It is so dysfunctional. Just a dysfunctional show with dysfunctional characters. I can't deal with that shit. It's triggering. It's stressful. I don't know how people like it, but that's y'all. If you like Shameless, great for you. But me personally, I hate fucking Shameless. But he has been credited for Shameless. Like I said, this writer, his name is Sherman something. I don't know. He's not even that important. Has literally seeped his colorism in this movie, and he also thought he was doing a favor for dark-skinned black women and black girls of making the lead actress as the main character as this girl who seeks revenge because she finds out there's vampires that's in her town of New Orleans, or we say it down here, New Orleans. And she seeks revenge to find out these vampires that is plaguing her city. And they killed her mother. I mean, think about it. If you watch Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter and then you watch this movie right here, it's a ripoff. It's lazy. It's actually lazy writing that this guy has really insulted the intelligence of people who love vampire movies, and also black people who has watched Abraham Lincoln Vampire or any vampire movie, or grew up saying they seen Blackula or Sugar Hill. Sugar Hill was a little different, it had like zombies and hoodoo and stuff in there, or any type of movie that, oh my gosh, this, and the director, I think she directed, she's not even, I don't know, she's not even that important either. She directed a movie called Phobia, and I never watched it. And since like this is her shitty ass directorial movie, she's directing this movie. I don't care for her to see any other movies from her. I don't care about the guy named Sherman has wrote this movie. They are basically fucking trash to me. Especially with dealing with very sore, touchy subjects as colorism. Especially it plagues in the black communities, Hispanic communities, communities of with people of color. Like I said, this dude is an Uncle Ruckus. He is a Negro hating Negro. He thought he was doing something great of writing this movie, stealing ideas from Abraham Lincoln Vampire, but instead he fucking failed the assignment. I am so sick and tired of when you have like this is really, I have some beefs with this shit. This, if you are a black director, black writer, etc., and you want to put on a really great horror movie, it doesn't matter if it's vampires, werewolves, anything with hoodoo, voodoo, witchcraft, anything else like that, please research, come up with something original. Be original. Write your characters that are black as three-dimensional and not two-dimensional or one-dimensional. This is what I have been noticing. This is what I have been noticing right now. You had Tales from the Hood, and Tales from the Hood was the most baddest ass horror movie, and it had black people in it, and it had social ills of what was going on throughout each of the stories. They took the passion, they were very passionate about what was going on during that time. And Tales from the Hood came out in 95, 96. I love that movie. And that to me was like the best horror movie in black cinema, that it took the fucking time and it fleshed out all of the characters, and it would it made this, like, Tales from the Hood is actually is a very a cult classic horror movie that was made in the mid-90s. You also have Blackula, Scream, Blackula, Scream. You had Sugar Hill. You had there's a lot of movies that has black characters in horror that has they actually had a slick, solid storyline. We remember in Blackula where Blackula, whenever he wasn't a vampire, he came with his queen, and they were, talking to the guy. He was like saying, like, "Hey, I want to take over y'all shit. I want to make some of your people slaves, and et cetera, et cetera." And he was just like, "Hell no," you know what I'm saying? What you trying to do? You insulting me, and you insulting my queen and my kingdom. And that's when the guy turned him into a vampire, because he did not bow down to the white vampire in the movie in Blackula. And that's the reason why he became Blackula. And Blackula was, he was so hell bound on revenge, and he just didn't like what was going on. They took everything from him, but they did not, just kept it going on. You seen what happened to Blackula before he turned into a vampire. We got that. But this shit right here, Black as Night, it's a total piece of fuckery. You have your colorism, the girl in here, she's dark skinned. People insult her. She has a brother that sits there and insult her all the time, calling her Wesley Snipes because she's so black like Wesley Snipes. That joke right there is so fucking old. Because I remember the Wesley Snipes jokes and stuff that people were throwing out in the 90s and 2000s, before Wesley Snipes fell off and he had tax evasion and all kinds of shit. But that joke was so old. This is like how cringy it is. This is how idiotic that you think a kid, of this day and age would sit there and use a Wesley Snipes jab, an insult towards his sister. So basically he's just saying, "Hey sis, you're black as fuck. You're unattractive. You're really ugly. You are, I consider you as very masculine. I consider you as very ugly. I don't even know why you're my sister, because your skin tone is a big turn off. And, you could be prettier if you was a little bit light skinned." And that's where I had a very big fucking issue on. I came from dark-skinned women that are my grandmothers. If it wasn't for those beautiful dark-skinned women that are my grandmothers, I would not be here. My daughter is mixed. She would not be here. Okay? We would not be here. I'm not just talking to just black women. I'm talking about the black men too, and the black boys and the black girls. But since colorist hating ass Negro, he has cognitive distance. He is cognitive distance of what he wrote, and it was really lazy. And he thought he was doing a great thing of positioning her as having low self-esteem, and then her mother had some PTSD and some issues because of Hurricane Katrina in the aftermath, and she still was dealing with that. And then it was so pathetic how he wrote this guy that she had a crush on. He didn't even notice her because she was dark skinned, and then he seen her kill a vampire and figuring out this stuff, and she let him know that her mother died because she was turned into a vampire. Then he opened up and said his brother is a drug addict and everything. So that right there was supposedly be their bond, was just actually a trauma bond to make him, see who she was and really like her. That is asinine. It is way fucked up. It is so twisted. That is so fucking twisted, man. That is some twisted shit. And then not only that, they were written the gay best friend as extremely stereotypical. Extremely stereotypical. that pissed me off too. And he is Hispanic, and he made the dialogue was so clunky and so stupid. He made this comment because he is a track star at his high school. He was graduating. He got a full ride scholarship to a university in Texas, and he made the comment saying that, oh, I don't want to leave New Orleans because I am kind of scared of white people because I am immigrant Mexican and I wouldn't fit in at a college with full of white people. And I was just like, that let me know that the writer does not know Hispanic people. I live in Texas. We have a lot of Mexicans here and people from El Salvador. We just have a whole bunch of like Hispanic and Latin people here. Brazil. I mean, there's people in Brazil that has moved from Brazil that lives in a small town where I'm from. And didn't even know that Spanish is actually the second language spoke in Texas. First is English, second is Spanish, and we also have a third language here spoken, which is Vietnamese. Okay, yeah, I just throw facts on y'all asses. But when that type of writing right there, and it was so extremely lazy, coming from this character, his ass would have been beat to death with a motherfucking chancla, because he don't know in a Hispanic home. He don't know. Hispanic people are all about their education. They're all about, going to college. They learn about learning a trade. They learn about, like about business and stuff. And then he sit there and not only disrespected this character of being gay and being a stereotypical gay the stereotypical gay trope that we always have seen throughout movies, and then being disrespectful and to him as his Hispanic heritage, and saying that like, well, I don't want to leave. I don't want to go to college. I just want to stay in New Orleans and just like suck a whole bunch of dick and have a whole bunch of dicks in my mouth. When he actually has a really great opportunity to further not only his education, but his life too. Nobody, you know what? I have never heard a Hispanic person ever in my life say, well, I don't care about fucking college. I don't care if I have a full ride. Fuck this shit. I'm just going to stay in New Orleans and just chill. No, they're not. They finna take their motherfucking opportunity and better themselves. That's the reason why I know this asshole who written this movie does not know Hispanic people and Hispanic culture. I know he has a deep-seated self-hate hard-on against dark-skinned women, black women, and girls. Even the vampire in this scene where the young lady goes to kill one of the vampires because she's trying to find out who is the lead vampire, and the vampire is like this 10 -10 rate, negative on the fucking scale, a Lestat looking ass motherfucker with bad skin. And I'm an esthetician, and this motherfucker have hyperpigmentation going on. This bitch is ashy as fuck. Like he ain't. Yeah, I know you can't get out in the sun, but you can moisturize your motherfucking face. And I was like, this bitch need a chemical pill and some good ass moisturizer for his fucking face. And guess what he said when she walked in the room? Well, I really don't like him this dark. What the fuck just happened? What in the fuck just happened? What? And you see where I'm going at? As shitty this movie is, y'all have seen on the internet, on social media, on YouTube, how you have self-hating black men that talk so much shit and talk down to about darker skinned women. And when I see a man that sits there and shits on women due to their skin tone, the most beautiful skin tone, and I'm jelly. I wish I was dark skinned. I have to tan, and I have white girl issues. And I cannot tan worth a shit. Some places I can tan, but I have white girl issues with my tanning. And you have a bitch of a man. You can tell a man is fucking conquered, and a man has low self-esteem, and a man that fucking hates himself. He hates the mother that he came from, and sits there and shit on women, dark-skinned black women. And I'm gonna tell you, dark-skinned black women, please don't take no shit from people like them. They are some hoes. They are some bitches. You are beautiful no matter what. We done seen the proof in the pudding. You have Alex Weck. She is a model, and she was married to an Italian guy. I mean, I heard they got divorced and shit. You have Iman, who was married to David Bowie. He passed away. You have Serena and Venus. You know, you have and if anyone have listened to San Francisco Dam by Miss Dee Dee LaFrac, she's a dark-skinned, beautiful woman. Age is like eternal. She was married to a Jewish white man. The list can go on and on. You have like the most famous dark-skinned women, to your regular dark-skinned women, your average dark-skinned women that's like from all different walks of life. Not only are they married to like white men, Hispanic men, Asian men, and all in between. So yeah, that right there tells you a lot when you have a colorist piece of shit who stole ideas from another movie, like nobody is not paying attention, who can't even write fleshed out characters. And Amazon gave him a green light for this shit. Remember, he's credited to writing Shameless. That ought to answer your fucking question. But yeah, and I'm just, I hate this movie. If you want to watch it and lose all your brain cells in 87 minutes, go right ahead, be my guest. You're probably thinking like, well, she's like overreacting to some movie that blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not overreacting. My like emotions and my logic, what I have sit here and watched and put together logically in my brain, I'm not overreacting. And I'm not going to apologize what the fuck I'm saying on this damn podcast of trashing the shit out of this movie. It is absolute ass. It is a dumpster fire. I know my show is like a dumpster fire, a train wreck and everything, but at least I hold some type of integrity with the show. And I like to entertain people of, my views and what I like about, sharing how horror and all the different genres of this podcast that I really enjoy, or some I don't like, or how I look at it from a different lens. But this right here, this lens is clear as day. It is bullshit. It is straight bullshit. But be my guest. You want to watch Blackest Night on Amazon Prime? Go ahead. You may not agree with me. I don't give a shit. But the colorism is terrible. It is basically doing a disservice and a disrespect to black dark-skinned women. It is, I mean, even though people are finding Josh Wheatland and all these allegations against Josh Wheatland, what he was doing, especially on the set of Buffy, to some of the, actors on there. You had the guy who played Spike. He told everybody like, hey, it was like a altercation and stuff against Josh Wheatland. Me and him and stuff. We were friend of Nuck and Buck. And I mean, even Buffy was really good, but there's some things in Buffy that I was like, oh wow, that's, But this guy, he is trash. The director who thought she was doing something great in black cinema or horror, whatever, she's trash too. And my PSA for black writers and black directors that are young and up and coming, please research folklore on horror stories. Come up with something really fresh. I'm so sick of bringing in I know slavery happened. Nobody's not discounting that and stuff. But if you want to tell a story like that, you can tell a horror story normally without like sitting there, hitting the finger, point, look. You know how like when people try to get your attention and they start poking you and they keep poking you really hard and it gets really hurtful and stuff. Why are you doing that? We could have saved all that. You could put that in there, but you could have fleshed out your characters, fleshed out the plot of the movie, fleshed out so many things that to make this a really good, fun horror, movie with vampires. But they missed the assignment. Literally. They failed with the F, and that shit is not fantastic. It's not. But that's going to conclude our tonight's podcast. This is not even like a full reel or whatever. This is just I'm so sick of Boy howdy. And I know if any of y'all are a vampire fan and you've seen this is going to break your dark heart. I was calling all of the vampires Nosferatu, Jerry Dandridge, Lestat, even sad, depressed Louis. Shit. I mean, even, I'm going to say it like this. I will watch Sundowners, The Vampire Retreat, the most boring vampire movie starring Bruce Campbell and David Carradine. I will watch that again than this piece of shit. That's how bad it is. Super bad. Anyways, fuck the director. Fuck the writer. Fuck this movie. This is the Random Horror Show. And I am your host, Keisha Lacey. I'm finna recharge my chakras, burn my sage, and I'm finna be happy for the rest of this damn night. And thank y'all for listening. You have really great cheap taste in podcast listening.